There is a distinct psychological profile found in people raised during the 1970s, and it is becoming increasingly rare. If you grew up in that decade, your cognitive development occurred during a unique developmental sweet spot, a collision of absolute liberty and genuine accountability. It's why so many from that era look at the modern world with a knowing smirk. It isn't arrogance, it's the realization that they possess a secret knowledge. They lived through a Goldilocks era that can likely never be repeated. It was a time defined by a specific kind of magic: drinking from the garden hose, staying out until dark, and living a childhood that was, by today's standards, beautifully feral. So, what exactly made the 70s so transformative? And how did that specific environment wire your brain differently than those who came after? 1. Autogenic creativity. The first distinct trait is what behavioral experts might call internalized resourcefulness. It usually stemmed from a single, terrifying ultimatum from your parents. If you tell me you're bored, I will find you a chore to do. You learn the lesson instantly. Boredom is dangerous. Occupy yourself. Research into unstructured play proves that children who are forced to invent their own entertainment build superior executive functioning skills. You didn't have a schedule, you didn't have an iPad. You had to manifest a day of adventure out of thin air. This is why you could disappear into a book for hours, ride your bike to nowhere, or turn a patch of woods into a kingdom. Your brain mastered a skill that modern childhood often neglects: the ability to generate purpose from silence. 2. Risk tolerance calibration. While the first trait explains your creativity, this second trait explains why you stay calm when the world is burning. You possess adaptive risk calibration. You grew up climbing trees that were objectively too tall. You rode skateboards without pads. You engaged in rock wars and played with fireworks. In many ways, physical danger was your version of the internet. Every scrape, bruise, and narrow escape was teaching your central nervous system how to process threat. Developmental psychologists note that children who experience risky play grow up with better anxiety management. You learn the visceral difference between scary and unsafe through direct experience, not by watching a tutorial. You wore your cars and scars like trophies. Today, this translates into a unique superpower. While others panic during a crisis, you simply assess the damage and start fixing it. 3. Solitude competence. This is the trait that younger generations struggle to comprehend the most. You have a high capacity for comfortable solitude. You spend hours in your bedroom just listening to a record spin. You lay in the grass staring at clouds. You walked to school alone. You weren't lonely. You were just unconnected. Studies on pre-digital brains show that those raised before the era of the smartphone have significantly lower anxiety levels when left alone with their thoughts. Modern research suggests many people would rather endure physical pain than sit in a quiet room for 15 minutes. To you, that sounds absurd. You learned early on that boredom isn't a medical emergency. Because you weren't addicted to a constant stream of dopamine, you developed a mental resilience that allows you to sit in traffic or wait in a queue without falling apart. 4. Analog resilience. The fourth psychological marker is sustained delayed gratification. This shaped your character in invisible, foundational ways. If you wanted to watch a specific cartoon, you waited 7 days for it to air. If you took a picture, you waited a week to see if it was blurry. If you wanted to call a friend, you had to memorize their number and hope they were home. This wasn't just inconvenience, it was training. research consistently shows that the ability to delay gratification correlates with better relationships and higher career achievement. Your entire youth was a masterclass in patience, a skill that the on demand economy is actively eroding. This is why you find deep satisfaction in long term goals, while others demand instant results. 5. Unsupervised navigation. Finally, the trait that binds it all together: autonomy wiring. At 8 years old, you likely walked out the front door with a single instruction: come back when the street lights buzz on. No GPS trackers, no text check ins. You roamed neighborhoods miles away, navigated local woods, and interacted with the world on your own terms. If a stranger offered you water or a sandwich after a day of playing in the creek, it was community, not a crime scene. Data on childhood independence reveals that freedom of movement builds internal locus of control. You had to make judgment calls, read the room, and solve your own problems because mom and dad weren't there to intervene. They weren't your best friends. They were the authorities, and they trusted you to be competent. This is why, as an adult, you can plan and adapt without needing someone to hold your hand. Whenever you feel out of sync with today's fast-paced, high-anxiety world, remember this: you aren't obsolete. You're preserving a set of human capabilities that are facing extinction. 1. Your independence looks like coldness to some, but it is actually competence. 2. Your comfort with silence looks like withdrawal, but it is actually depth. 3. Your ability to wait looks like passivity, but it is actually discipline. You survived a childhood that would likely result in a CPS investigation today, and it didn't break you. It built you. As many from that Kira say, we were the lucky ones, and science tends to agree. You lived in that fleeting moment where children were allowed to be both civilized and wild. Drop a comment below if you're a 70s kid who believes it was the absolute best time to grow up. And if you enjoy deep dive content that uses psychology to validate your life experience, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we have a lot more to cover.